Hey everybody, happy Saturday. It's day one of Epoch number 5. Crazy, it's been a long lead up to getting through Halving Day yesterday, and we are through it. Tim Paul, thank you for coming. And guess what? The candle already for this first day of this next 4 years is up $1,600. Not bad. But that's not why I'm here today. I'm here to talk about some of the issues, challenges, changes in the space, as well as go back to a common question. What's going to happen with the ETFs? And I did a whole bunch of projections. It'll come towards the end. What I did was I took the current demand and I took different slices of it, 75%, 50%, 25%, and 10%. And then I created price prediction models. If they continue, even at 10%, even at my multiplier from 2021, and you'll see the prices. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So let's jump in. And thank you all for coming, and good to see Des again, and T&D Tesla, thank you for being here with me on this Saturday morning. So crypto market cap, $2.4 trillion. Volume low, though, 65 billion, half of what it was yesterday. But of course, it's a Saturday, and it's the first day of the new epoch, epic, whatever you want to call it. And what else? Fear and Greed is 66. Let's jump in. Big thank you to everybody on Patreon for being here. Playlist will be here afterwards, but just check out my playlist. There's playlist for every single thing you could possibly imagine. Now, the first candle of this first day of this new cycle, $1,600. Not bad. We still have a long way to climb to get back to that 73K. But you know, in crypto, things happen fast. We'll break down all the ETF numbers from yesterday and see what they're buying today as well. Now, there is some good news for Bitcoin miners, some bad news for people who are trying to get transactions through. But this is from James Van Straten. The average Bitcoin fee paid per block has only surpassed the block subsidy on 7 occasions in 15 years. And of course, this will mean revert. Everything mean reverts. But this is the biggest spike in average fees per block ever paid. Bingo. Another visual of what this looks like. And the impact on hash. This is from Matt C. The Bitcoin hash price post-halving will not materially drop off until all the fees subside. Obviously, if it's still lucrative for miners to mine, they won't unplug their rigs. And the fees will subside. They always do. We saw that with the ordinals. Now it's a thing called runes, another thing that's sucking up block space. But it shows you block space is very much in demand. And depending on fees, this could counteract any post-halving dump as it adds to the current momentum in Bitcoin. And it's incredibly bullish for the miners, as I said before. All of a sudden, I'm feeling very underweight miners. And I did say Q1 results will be bonkers. But now this impacts Q2 as well. So good times ahead. A visual of what these rewards look like and the size that they are, how much they are from block 0 of this new epoch is 1,204% more. And it is crazy. The question is, how long will this continue? Obviously, everybody's trying to log in that rune, whatever, on the first block. That's why it was in such high demand. I don't play with runes or ordinals, not my thing. But anyway, these are the block size wars. We've had this before in the past, and this is from Billy Barhett. And I predict that a block size increase is going to be called for very soon by the Bitcoin ordinal runes community, and then the same debate will begin again. Let's see how it goes this time. Regardless, Bitcoin just got even more interesting, if that was even possible. Now, Caitlin responded to this as well. I don't think we'll go down a block size thing. These rune things, ordinal things, they come in, they come out like the fashion real fast. But Caitlin responds, no. Can runes be launched on Bitcoin Cash? Good idea. Move it over to those fake forks. Anyhow, either way, markets will sort it out. Block space on the Bitcoin blockchain is a scarce, costly commodity by design. If rune tokens need Bitcoin level security and the economics to support that, the activity will stay on Bitcoin. If not, it won't. And the answer is, it won't. Caitlin is correct. And the fees are already waning. So this is a lot of concern. That's why I was spending a couple of slides on it this morning. This is from Fred, Uncle Fred. The update: after 75 blocks, we're trending down to 5 Bitcoin per block. And it seems 2 Bitcoin per block by Monday. Again, the runes thing is fizzling out. Now, another news too. Grayscale. after losing over half of their bag in 69 trading days. Ta-da! They are revealing their low mini Bitcoin mini trust ETF, which has a competitive management fee of 0.15%, which is 1/10 of the 1.5% they currently charge. Obviously, they see the thing bleeding out and they want to stop the bleed. Now, the mini trust will start with about 63,000 Bitcoin, which is about 20% of their assets currently, if I'm not mistaken. And there will be a tax advantage. So basically, this creation of the mini trust and the automatic transfer of assets to it from GBTC is a non-taxable event for shareholders, allowing them to move to the new fund with lower fees without incurring capital gains tax. Obviously, Grayscale realize we got to change something fast. This way they'll preserve a little bit of their bag. And we'll see. Anyway, it's just in time too. And that made me think, okay, what happens when Grayscale stops dumping? Where's the supply going to come from? And that will come with my new predictions. Now, first of all, before we get to those, this is super interesting from Joe Consorti. Are you ready for the US to be adding $1 trillion in debt every 30 days? And the answer is they're on target for that. We had a $1 trillion debt day in one day about 4 or 5 weeks ago. But what struck me by this is the US government is adding $1 trillion in debt every 30 days. And that would be like the US government buying all of Bitcoin every 30 days because we're just over a $1 trillion market cap. So instead of issuing debt, they just buy all the Bitcoin. That shows you how much of a debt spiral we are in and how scary this is and why we Bitcoin. Now, speaking of scarcity, not scary, I did some numbers. This is stuff I think about all the time. I looked at the average Bitcoin consumption per ETF over the last 69 days. And funnily enough, Fidelity consumed on average 2,222 Bitcoin a day over 69 days, which is bonkers to think about. BlackRock, nearly 4,000 a day. And GBTC dumped 4,564 a day. So I was saying, okay, what happens if the GBTC dumpage goes away? We've already seen a drastic reduction in that dumpage already happen. The question is what happens next? So I'll walk you through this table very quickly. It's a bit of an eye chart, but bear with me. First of all, in the third column, I removed GBTC, and then I assumed the numbers are the same. And then I calculated what percentage is that consumption of these 9 new ETFs as a function of the amount of Bitcoin mined per day. And the answer is 1,716%. But that's not where this gets interesting. Where it gets interesting is the price predictions based on this consumption. Now, for those who think, yeah, the ETFs are out of flavor, it's going to diminish, maybe that's true. So what I added was 75% of history, 50% of history, 25% of history, and 10% of history. So depending on how pessimistic you are, you can pick your poison, and then you get to the same amount. But even if these 9 new ETFs only buy 10% of what they bought over the last 69 days, okay, that results in 579.42 Bitcoin. And that's still 128.76% of the actual issuance on a daily basis, which is bonkers. So no matter how much I throttle this thing, it still sucks in more than the miners issue. But there's more. This gets really interesting. So here, ETF demand percentiles and the IA multiplier, which I created first in 2021 after Tesla bought their $1.5 billion bag. Here, that's 21. And I took those same percentages as well and multiplied them by the multiplier, multiplied them by the price of Bitcoin today. I assume $65,000 divided by the number of Bitcoin, etc. And you get the actual price increase for this, just the ETFs buying. Now, what I mean by the price increase, when the Bitcoin is bought, multiplied by the multiplier, it amplifies the price above a certain amount, and that gets added on top of the existing price. Okay, so if we assume conservatively, maybe so take, for example, we take the 21X, which is from 2021. Bitcoin's a lot harder right now, a lot more in demand. And just the ETFs only buy 25% of what they bought over the last 69 days. That increases the Bitcoin price by $47,698. At a 56 multiplier, which was my pre-halving multiplier, that takes the price to $127,000 plus 65, call it $190,000. If you go to 112, which is my estimate of the multiplier after halving, and the ETFs only buy 25%, and I'm just talking about the ETFs, nobody else on earth is buying Bitcoin, the price goes to north of $300,000. And it's crazy, but this is the math, okay? So these are the price predictions now based on this model. Again, pick your poison. If you want to go with 10% or the average or the 21x multiplier or the 112, you decide. But even if we just go with 10% of history and we go to the multiplier of 21x, that takes the price to $79,309. That is absolutely not going to happen. It's going to go a lot higher than that, and I've never been more convinced. If we take just 10% ETFs buying, and we know the RIAs are coming in, but we use my old multiplier from pre-halving, 56, that takes the Bitcoin price to 103,000. And if we go to 112x, that takes the price to 141,000. If the ETFs just buy half, and we take the pre-halving multiplier, which takes into account the price increasing, people selling, that takes the price at $319,000. Either way you skin it, this stuff is completely bonkers. Here's a visual of all the price predictions. If you want to hit pause, take a screenshot, laid out. The top is the color, is the multipliers, 21x, 56x, 112x, again, pick what you want. And then the percentages of how much the ETFs will continue to buy at. Again, pick your poison. It's all there. It is very, very exciting to watch this economic experiment happen. That's why I got trouble sleeping at night. Let's go into the ETF numbers and then a couple of quick charts to show you where we're going to go next. By the way, I should check on the Bitcoin price because it is now $65,200. It did hit 65.5 and then it's fallen $300. But anyway, weekends are good. I did promise you in yesterday's show, weekends are going to pump. It's just what happens. So it's day 69, raw numbers. You can see here, we had our third least worst day for Grayscale, 45 million. And we had a strong performance by Fidelity, 55 million, 26 for BlackRock, and a whole bunch of others in play. So not bad, net positive day. What that looks like is as follows. Again, after 69 ETF days, GBTC is slowing fast. And the average consumption by all of these firms, Fidelity is still buying on average 2,222 a day, BlackRock nearly 4,000. It is stunning. What happens again? My question is, what happens when Grayscale stops or slows dramatically? And then these others start accelerating again. It's going to be crazy. Mark my words. And I know there's a lot of negative sentiment out there, but I don't care. I just look at numbers. Anyway, here is the Grayscale, green going up. Also blue is Fidelity going up. And again, this could be a nice post-halving rebound because a lot of these firms were very concerned. There's Mr. Johnny Godcandle coming in hot. But a lot of the traditional investors are very concerned that maybe Bitcoin would blow up after the halving. And it kind of did when it came to fees. So again, it's going to be great news for the miners. So that is the ETF update. The money flow is positive again. Total money flow into the system, about $56.7 million. But it's a tiny little blue speck. I expect over the next month and 2 months, now that the halving is behind us, that's going to increase. And mark my words, May is going to be incredible for Bitcoin. Because it always is. We'll explain why in a minute too. 36.5 billion into the 9 new ETFs, 533,000 Bitcoin in the new ETFs. Very big. And yesterday, 932 Bitcoin removed from the system. What's interesting about 932 Bitcoin? Again, It was a piddly little day for these ETFs. They still sucked in twice the daily issuance now. Think about that. Madness. Couple of charts real quick. I'll let you go. And I'll be back with another video soon. Bitcoin chart time. First one, this is from Rover. There is a massive bull flag appearing for Bitcoin. And again, I'm not a big believer in bull flags, but this definitely looks like it's ready to go back to all-time highs and then break out. So we'll see. In addition, the halving is always bullish. Always. The month, this is from the Titan of Crypto, the month after the halving has always been bullish for Bitcoin. May will be very bullish, unless, of course, we have World War III or something. There's always that 1% chance of a nasty black swan. Either way, bank on May being good. The trad Wall Street folks now realize it. Now they'll want to get a position. They should have bought last week, but that's a separate issue. And how many hundreds of percentages will come next during this post-halving cycle of 12 to 18 months? We're not sure. Again, history. First time, 8,000%. Second time, 3,000%. Last time, 800%. This time, given what we just shared, okay, 65,000 Bitcoin. I'm just going to share this chart one more time. Make sure people get it, okay? Let's run through some simple numbers. 10% of what the Bitcoin ETFs purchased over the last 69 days and a conservative half multiplier of 56x takes us to $103,000, which is not much. I think easily we're going to get to 141,000, but probably a lot more. We are about to see incredible scarcity. The question is, how much of that will be counterbalanced by people selling, taking profits, and rotating into other assets? That's what we can't fathom right now. And there will be some of that. Therefore, it's conservative to take maybe that 56x multiplier and assume the ETFs only pump half in, but that would still take us to $300,000. Crazy times, everybody. Thank you all for coming. If you learned something new, hit the like and subscribe to the Bitcoin only list that's above. I'll be back with some crypto and stock market updates from the week as well in a couple of hours. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to the mods in the chat. Have a great day, everybody. This will be a good weekend. Buckle in, strap in. See you soon.